Hey y'all, it's Candace. Okay, so this is a DIY video. This has been highly requested. I have filmed this video this is probably the third time I've filmed this video. The other two times were just a disaster. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to show you a DIY. It is, I know I have showed this in pictures and whatnot, but it is my DIY. How many times can you say that? Wet n Wild palette. It looks like this. I did make this. I have so many Wet n Wild, whoa, I'm going to throw things everywhere. I have so many Wet n Wild palettes that I was just getting sick and tired of them all sitting in a drawer and me completely forgetting about them. So I was like, that is it. I'm on a mission to put them all in one spot. And this is what I came up with. Mine are not magnetized in. Mine are super glued in. Well, not super glued, hot glued, because I was not, this palette was going to be a set palette. It was going to be all of my Wet n Wild shadows. It was not going to be something like my Z palette where I could interchange things in and out. So I will show you what it looks like. It is not perfect. I'll go ahead and tell you that. I will tell you that when you do Wet n Wild shadows and you depot them, they are very fragile. As you can see in one of my shadows down here, I totally broke it. It is, I might as well just try and press that back in and save it and salvage it. But here is my Wet n Wild palette. I made it myself. These are all of my Wet n Wild shadows minus one palette and 3 of the single shadows I could not fit in here, so they went in my Z palette. I will show you those. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Really, all that you need is a book. This is a book. I covered it in contact paper, as you can see. This book was about this thick with the pages in it. That is really what I was looking for. I wanted something with a hard cover because it will protect your shadows. It's not going to be a complete protection, you know, that's just how things are. So you're going to need a book so you can cut the binding out of, which is what I did. I never covered it up, so you can see it back here. See all the binding? I didn't cover that up, which you can do. This is scrapbook paper to cover up the page. And then I put scrapbook paper actually underneath these shadows. You're not going to be able to see them, obviously. I just did not want to paste them. I didn't want to glue them just to plain cardboard, so I just put, you don't have to do that. No one's going to see it. So, yeah. The flower I got at Target on clearance for $1. The stickers I had to write it out. This little, like, butterfly shaped thing is scrapbook paper. Again, this all on the outside is contact paper, which you can get at the grocery store. I think you can get it at CVS, Walgreens. I know you can get it at Walmart really, really cheap. So contact paper is wonderful. I used contact paper galore all through middle school and high school to cover up my books because I didn't want to look at an ugly math book. I'd rather look at really cool contact paper. So yeah, so all you really need is a book in the width that you want. I do suggest it to be at least this thick, if not thicker. I wish mine was a little bit thicker, so you are going to need a book, an X-Acto knife. I was not very good with the X-Acto knife, so if you have like a box cutter that you have actually a little bit more control of and isn't so super duper sharp, that might work a lot better. I had to have my boyfriend cut the binding out because I bought 2 of these books. I demolished the first book because I got pissed off and didn't really know how to use the X-Acto knife and just slaughtered the book to pieces. So you're going to cut the binding out. So all you're left with is this book. Again, I don't have step-by-step to show you. I am so sorry. I'm a horrible person, I know. So yeah. Then I covered the book all in contact paper. I covered this with scrapbook paper. And then what you'll need to do is get a foam board. This black stuff right here is a foam board. I suggest you get them at the dollar store, unlike what I did. I went to Walmart and paid almost $5 for a stupid board that I was going to just hack to pieces. And then you just measure it out. You measure the width of your book this way, and then you cut your pieces out. I almost wish mine were a little thinner, kind of like my sides. If you notice, the sides are just a tad bit smaller, maybe a ½ inch, where this is almost like a full inch, almost 1.5 inches. You just kind of have to do it the way that you feel it works. There is no right or wrong way to do this, y'all. Seriously. Then you hot glue your sides in so they fit. Okay, and then I added little pieces of magnet here, here, and up here on the top, as you can see. So that way it stays closed. No, they're not super duper like stay together magnets. Almost they're kind of crappy, to be honest with you. But they do sell like the little silver ones that you can get on eBay. You can get like 10,000 of them for like nothing. So you can do that. Then you hot glue it in, and then you're just going to deep hot your shadows and put them in one at a time. Again, I used hot glue. That is what I used, hot glue. How you deep hot your shadows, the way that I found the best. And of course I don't have one with me because I threw it away. But y'all know the lighters, not like the lighters like normal people use to light a cigarette. It's the big, like almost like grilling lighters. You can get them for $1 at Walmart. Those are the best to use because you're not going to have to worry about burning your fingers or whatever. Then you're going to need to get a push pin, just a simple push pin. Worked for me. You are gonna light that sucker underneath the shadow. It's gonna smell kind of burny, whatever, whatever. You're gonna smell it, and then you're gonna try each shadow, and they should easily pop out. If not, keep putting the heat underneath it. Put that flame right underneath that plastic. Kind of, I don't have one sitting here. Okay, here. This Revlon shadow. So I would take underneath here. I would try and peel the paper off if you can. If not, it's just going to burn. And don't freak out if it catches on fire. Just blow it out. It's okay. Use caution because you're using fire. For the love of God, don't be stupid. And be like, well, Candace told me to do it. No. Use common sense, folks, when you're playing with fire, okay? You're just going to warm the bottom of this. So like I would light it and put it under this and just kind of, I would only probably do 2 shadows at a time. I would not try to deep hot all 4 at one time because you only have a few minutes to work with. Once that heat unlocks the glue that have these locked in, that's your best time to pop those suckers out. So I would usually just do 2 at a time underneath and really slightly work the edges. Again, don't force it. If you force it, this is what happens. You bust your eyeshadow to pieces. Again, your Wet n Wild shadows are very fragile. They are wonderful shadows, but they are fragile, as are any other shadows. I have absolutely mutilated MAC shadows that I've tried to depot. I had to throw the whole thing away. Those are like the worst shadows to depot, in my opinion, that I've tried. They've just been an absolute nightmare. And then again, I just glued them in, and I glued them in their sections. So, you know, this one is Sweet as Candy. I know that for sure. So these 3 colors are from the Sweet as Candy palette. I did not name these. I did not put any of the things on the back to remind me what palettes they were from. I just stuck all these bad boys in here. That is what I did. And I love this. I can take this with me. I do have to be careful because if you set anything heavy on top of this, it will crush your shadows. That's the only, you know, really shitty part about this. You just have to be careful. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I could not get my, I think it's Petal Pusher. I could not get that palette for the life of me. Sorry, it totally busted on me as well. I forced this one. I think this was like the last palette that I was taking apart, and I'd lost my patience at that point. But my Petal Pusher palette is right here, and then as you can see up here, my 3 here are the Wet n Wild singles that I could not get in here. I had no more room. If I had a bigger book, yeah, I would. But honestly, I thought that this one book would fit all of my shadows. I was like, this thing is huge, the shadows are small, won't be a problem. So yeah, that is how I made my Wet n Wild palette. I depotted all of them and stuck them in a freaking book. It's not that hard, y'all. Seriously, play with it. Do your own. I watched 1,000 videos on here on YouTube. Some of them were so technical, I like within 2 seconds watching the video, I was like, oh hell no, and I closed out the video. Like seriously, this does not take a genius to figure out. You just gotta play with it. You gotta make it your own. Nobody's palette looks like this on YouTube. I made it my own. A lot of people will use duct tape to put on the back of their, you know, to kind of decorate it. I use contact paper. Contact paper to me, it's not like duct tape, so once it's stuck down, it's not set. Like if I got a little air bubble, I can actually peel the contact paper back up and peel it back down and push it back down. Contact paper works wonderful. I love it. And again, decorate it how you want to on the front. Use whatever kind of paper you want. Just tear out the binding. Just be careful because you don't want to tear out the whole inside of the book like I did on my first book. I mean, this sucker went in 2 pieces. I mean, I tore this bitch in half, okay? So just take out the binding, as you can see. Add your styrofoam foam board on the outside and throw in your palette. You could also go to Home Depot and get, you can measure it out and cut out a piece of metal. I think they sell sheets of metal and you can get a small cut piece. You can stick that in there. And then buy some little magnets to stick on the back of your shadows if you wanted it kind of to be like a Z palette where you can interchange your shadows. I didn't want to mess with that. I have the 2 Z palettes. I can interchange them. Honestly, I don't interchange anything. Once they're in here, they're in here. I'm not going to take them in and out because not all my stuff is depotted. But I love this. I love this. I can take this with me and just this and be set to go. I can do a subtle look. I can do a natural look. I can do a rocked out look, a smoky look, a night out look. I could do everything with this palette and just have this. Like if I were just to take this on the plane with some eyeliner and mascara, I would be set. I could have 2 weeks, if I could have months worth of looks with this. So I suggest you do it how you want to do it. Just, I'm giving you the materials on how to do it. A book, X-Acto knife, contact paper, scrapbook paper, foam, a foam board, black foam board. Again, get it at the Dollar Tree. It's only $1. Don't be stupid like me and pay an arm and a leg for it. Measure it out. Did I say X-Acto knife? If I didn't, I think I did. X-Acto knife. If not, a box cutter would probably work a lot better. Again, a lighter, your palettes, a push pin. Pop those suckers out. Be careful. And hot glue them in if you want to. If not, go and buy that metal sheet that you can buy at Home Depot and you can use them as magnets. Again, I didn't want to do that. So anyway, that is my Wet n Wild palette. I love this palette. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is so simple. Again, don't overthink this process. You can do it. It is super simple. Take your time, make it your own, and you've got your own palette. So anyway, any other specific questions, comment below. I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. And anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed that, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll have more DIYs coming up that are not even beauty related. I kind of want to make my channel a little, you know, diverse. Makeup, beauty, DIY, whatever. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, check out my Facebook page, and I will talk to y'all later.